Thank you. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fight and Food Insights, the place to be for the average sporting insight, talking all things sport at the average level. We're back. And as you can see, we're repping the Premiers. We're repping the 2025 Premiers. Okay. We're supporting the winning team. We're supporting the Broncos today. As you all may know, some of you may be new here, so you may not know, I'm a Rabbitohs supporter. I'm a South Sydney. I bleed red and green, okay? And this hurts me to wear this. It does. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And I'm going to be a bit of a bandwagoner today. I'm going to jump on the 4X Gold Queensland Broncos bandwagon. It's Adam Reynolds. It's Reece Walsh. It's mainly Reece Walsh, okay? We're going to talk all things grand final in a little bit, all right? We're going to talk a little bit of intro-y stuff first. All the things that are going on. Okay, all the things that are going on in the world of Fight and Field Insights. Okay? So, I want to start by saying, how was your guys' grand final experiences? Because mine was pretty good. Okay, we took the full advantage of the Australian spring sun. Okay, there was probably a UV level of like 6 or something. I'm not sure. Didn't check on the day. All right, but we made the most of the Australian sun. I'm talking blow up pools. All right, if you follow the Instagram, you'll know all about it. I'm talking blow up pools. All right, I'm talking the seedy sunglasses you wear. I'm sure I got a pair laying around here somewhere. I'm talking music. I'm talking the UFC, which we'll talk a little bit later. I'm talking the grand final. I'm talking 4X Gold. I'm talking it all, okay? So, we had one of the all-time grand final days. The sun got to me a little bit. I'll admit I am burnt from head to toe. I sported budgie smugglers all day, so I am burnt pretty well head to toe. The thighs copped it. The upper body copped it. I'm talking shoulders, I'm talking back, I'm talking pussy and my crack. I'm the belly. I got the belly, lad. The belly got burnt, which is just brutal. Because I'm a big belly patter. I love to pat the belly just to symbolise satisfaction. I've had a good meal. Pat the belly. Something good happened in the grand final last night. Pat the belly, and it was burning and it was hurting. So I've really been knocked out of my belly patting game. So yeah, but we had a great grand final. Hopefully you guys had similar great times. All right. Hopefully you had similar good times. Obviously, we didn't live stream it. There was promises earlier in the year that we were going to live stream it, but plans changed. And we had a very enjoyable time. Family, friends, grand final, UFC, sports betting. Always do it with Neds. If you're going to bet with Neds. Not sponsored. Please sponsor me. All that aside, with the grand final happening, that does mean the NRL season has come to a close. There's no NRL next week. Okay, there's no team list Tuesday. There's no punting on a Thursday night. Obviously, we haven't been punting on Thursday nights in a little while, but we're done. The NRL's over with. We're gonna wait until February next year. Pretty brutal. Okay, it's gonna take a lot to fill that void, but thankfully, this is Fight and Field Insights. There is other fights. There is other fields that we can cover. So, don't worry. If you're sitting in, you're upset. I'm upset. We're all upset, but it's okay. It's been an amazing season. Because I'm just going to talk the grand final. So, I mean, it makes sense to say, like, the grand final went the way that the season went. The season was so chaotic, and, the Raiders looked really good, and in any other season of rugby league, they probably would have won it. But that just wasn't the season we had. It was chaotic. There was twists and turns, and, you couldn't put a finger on anything. Everything was changing. Everything was wild. And it was a roller coaster, and it was probably one of the best seasons of rugby league that I've seen in a long time. I was captivated, and it was an everyday affair. Okay, I watched nearly every game. If I missed a game, then, it was worth missing. So, What does that mean, though, coming up in the channel? As I said, there's more fighting and there's more fighting and there's more field to talk about. Excuse me. Okay, so, obviously we've got the Ashes coming up the end of this month. The Pacific Championship is, when is it? 18th? I think it kicks off the 18th Pacific Championship. So there's going to be, the video style, I guess, is going to be we're just going to jam everything into one. It's going to be like a content roundup, sporting content roundup, where everything gets just jammed into one big video with all the need to knows on, rugby league, rugby union. I actually don't know what's going to be running at the time. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. UFC runs till December, so there's bits and pieces. Cricket, obviously, is going to be a pretty big one. So yeah, maybe shorter videos, maybe a shorter video style, maybe a bit more of a chaotic video style. So yeah, that's what to expect. A sporting content roundup where we just talk it all right? Which is, kind of what today's going to be like, but yeah, a little bit less of the sporting content, more of just the grand final. We've got to talk all things grand final. We're going to talk... I should probably be a little bit closer to the mic. Is that better? Hopefully the whole start of this wasn't too quiet. And now the mic's on a bit of an angle, and it's going to... Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I think that's all I've got to say. I think that's all I've got to say. Ashes. Grand final was good. NRL season's over. Yeah. That's enough for my intro. The intro is done. Let's get into some news before we talk grand final. There's a couple of like little newsy things I want to talk about that are, NRL related, not grand final related. Kind of grand final related. There's a bit in there. Let's talk news. Oh yeah. So first up on the chopping block, talking all things news. It's James Tedesco. All right, it's the Ashes, and it's him redacting himself. What do they call that? Cutting himself from the team. Whatever. He's not doing it. He's attending his brother's wedding or something, which I think is a fair shout. Which I think is a really fair shout. All right, Teddy's had a big year. He's won the Dally M. What? He's won captain of the year. He's won fullback of the year. Let him rest, I say. For all the people out there who are getting hyper offended from the fact that James Tedesco doesn't want to wear a Kangaroos jersey, represent Australia in the Ashes tour, I understand that. They're from a much purer rugby league spectation group. AE played and or just an absolute fanatic of the game. I don't necessarily care. All right, I like James. I think he's a gun. I've said a lot. I'm a big fullback guy, and James Tedesco is a fullback, right? But look, with bad comes good, and good comes bad. And James Tedesco pulling out to go to his brother's wedding has left us with Premiership winning fullback Reece Walsh. I'm pretty sure that's the story. I'm pretty sure Reece Walsh is the fullback for the Ashes tour. So is it a loss? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess. We lose Teddy, but we got Reece Walsh. So would you rather have the Dally M player of the year, fullback of the year, captain of the year? Would you rather have Reece Walsh, Premiership winning fullback? Don't know. It's a real toss up. But yeah, I mean, there's not much in the way of news. So I just threw there's not much in the way of news. There's really not. I mean, James Tedesco pulling out of the Ashes tour was probably the biggest thing, and I'm just not all that invested in it. I don't really care. All right, it's family, and you can't just expect your brother to reschedule his wedding, and you can't just expect to not turn up to your brother's wedding. That's ruthless. So I look, James, if you ever watch this, mate, you get the full backing of the Fighting Field Insights team. We fully back you. And it just makes sense. It makes sense. You do you. You do you. And who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? Honestly, at the end of the day, it's real, scraps. Picking at scraps for something to complain about. Right? We won't be complaining about much until, Rugby 360 starts to take a grip. Which we'll get to. While we're talking Ashes, we'll talk 9 debutantes. Kevy's picked 9 debuting players for the Kangaroos squad. I don't know them all. I could list a few. Jacob Preston. Pop them up on screen when I say their names. Jacob Preston. Blake Brayley. Ethan Strange. Reece Walsh. Kalamatangi. I think that's all I got. Honestly, I think. Oh, Bradman Best. Who else is there? I don't know. I think that's all I can really name. That's all I can really name. I don't know any others. How many was that? Ethan Strange, Blake Brayley, Bradman Best, Keon, Reece. I said one at the start. No, I forgot it. Anyway, who cares? 5 or 6 or something I've listed. So, yeah. But there's 9 of them, apparently. There's 9 of them. And yeah. So, we'll see where all that goes. I don't have much to say about that. I'm really excited for the Ashes. I don't really care who plays in the team. I don't really have a pick for it. It's just another excuse to, watch the great game of rugby league. I definitely think when it comes down to our halves, I'm really hoping Ethan Strange isn't playing 6. You'd really want it to be like a Cameron Munster or ideally, Nath and Munster in the halves, but I don't know how it all works. I really don't. I don't know how it all works. So I'm assuming if Teddy knocked it back, and there was this much uproar about Tedesco knocking back a Kangaroos jersey, Munster and Nathan probably wouldn't knock it back. I don't know. It's up to Kevy too. Talk a little bit of grand final, just grand final news. This isn't grand final. It has a lot to do with it. But Reece Walsh last night. This is recorded on a Monday. Reece Walsh, high contact on Xavier Coates at the time, put on report. Okay. There's been a lot of uproar from the Melbourne Storm people. High contact and that should have been sent to the bin. Yeah, fair enough. But it wasn't. It was put on report. The game was allowed to play, which in any other circumstance, let them play would be the ruling. But yeah, Reece Walsh has been given a $3,000 fine. Careless high tackle. Who cares? But it's a news segment. I'm going to talk news, whatever comes across my desk. And then Rugby 360, of course. I don't have one main talking point here. I thought I should address it because I was just scrolling Instagram and I was just seeing all these names like Angus Crichton, Munster's getting looked at for Rugby 360 or Wallabies, which is kind of weird, but. And the Storm, Storm are open for it, which is, also weird. But yeah, a lot of these names are just like media things to get the name out there, get people excited, get people want to talk about these things. But yeah, Angus Crichton, I've seen Angus Crichton's name. I've seen Jai Gray's name in there a bit. Pappenhausen's a big one. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. It's Rugby 360. I don't know what's going to come from it. I actually don't know much about it. If you have the wrap on Rugby 360, what it is. Put in the comments. Comment down below what Rugby 360 is, because I'm a little bit in the dark. I know I'm fairly certain it's Rugby Union promotion, right? So Rugby Union sporting promotion, and it's looking like when Saudi Arabia set up like that golf league and the soccer league or whatever. That's what it's looking like. It's just it's a money thing. So yeah, I don't have much else to say about that. That's all the pesky little bits of scrappy news I've got. It's a real scrappy news segment to just gap fill. 14 minutes have run already, and I've just dribbled. So, but let's talk to Kudo Gra. Let's talk a grand final. Let's talk Reece Walsh. Let's talk Adam Reynolds. Let's talk Ben Hunt. Let's talk Payne Haas. They just get it, mate. Oh, they just get it. Them Queenslanders, mate, they just get it. They just know how to play sport. The Brisbane Lions, mate. You heard of them, mate? Yeah, mate. They won the granny. They actually won the granny, mate. You know them Brisbane Broncos, mate? Oh, how good are them Brisbane Broncos, mate? Yeah, 4x goal. Get him up, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, them bloody WNRL Broncos, eh? The women's Bronx. How bloody good are they? Grand final. How do we feel? It felt good, man. It was good to just see any other team that isn't Penrith and Storm playing a grand final. It felt so refreshing. Oh, well, Storm played in it, but they didn't win. It just felt refreshing to see the Broncos win a grand final. Okay, obviously, living under a rock in that. Penrith have won 4 in a row. It's been a long time. There's 4-year-old kids out there who can talk and walk. Well, you know, string a few words together. They probably couldn't string a few, like a coherent sentence together. But they can string words together, you know, mama, dada. How much can a 4-year-old say? Can a 4-year-old talk much? How much does a 4-year-old get away with talking? Comment that down below as well. Does a 4-year-old talk much? But yeah, there's 4-year-olds out there who never knew nothing but Penrith. They never knew nothing but a Penrith grand final. It was just tradition to them. This time, September every year, Penrith will be playing and winning a grand final. That's what 4-year-olds all around the world, now 5-year-olds, that's all they knew. Up until the Broncos won last night. Because they're 4-year-olds, so they probably still think like the Storm was the Penrith Panthers. I don't know. Where I'm getting with this is that this is the first time in a very long time we've seen anything but Penrith and Storm. Penrith and Storm. Penrith versus someone else. Storm versus someone else. All right. Yes, the Storm was in it. It's going to be hard to keep him out. But this was a good game, man. This was a good grand final. More than anything, it was a good grand final. Twists, turns. Melbourne winning the first half. The Broncos just not saying die. Once again, I made the point in the last video that they are the best second half team of the comp. Love a comeback. Big Rocky. Madge's coaching style is just get in the sheds and just put on Rocky. Put on Rocky highlights. If you can hear that thing in the background, I have no idea what that is. That sounded like a gas leak. It sounded like a pipe burst, gas pipe. Not to be concerned though. We're gonna keep recording. Check that out after. Yeah. Oh, it was just pure. It was just so good to see anyone but Penrith winning. And just, you know, the reactions of the boys. I mean, I'm going off a little topic here. I've got a script I've got to go by, or else I'll go off topic. But I'm going to let myself go off topic because it was pure, man. It was pure. My takeaways from the game is Ben Hunt, obviously, the 2015 redemption story, losing in 2015, dropping that ball, the comeback. Yes, he got knocked out. He knocked himself. He got knocked out. He got a knee to the face late in the game. I think there was like probably 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes, 10 minutes ago. I don't know. There was time left, though, for a comeback from Melbourne. Dozer, KO. And that was brutal, man. He gets up, instantly runs into the play of the ball, and you could just see the look on his face. He was like, I'll let the boys down. Let the boys down again. Reece like grabs him, holds him, pats him on the back. He's like, brother, you're done. You're done. Obviously, you guys have seen this. You were watching the game as well. So that's probably that's one of the main things I took away from watching the Broncos win was like getting to watch how emotional Ben Hunt was. Like a real savant of our game. He's a staple of our game. Obviously, he's not Reece Walsh celebrity status. He's not Nathan Cleary celebrity status. You got to kind of know the game a little bit to know Ben Hunt. But he is. He's a who can I compare him to? Well, he's kind of like a Shawn Michaels of the game. You know, when you think about WWE, you think about John Cena and you think about The Undertaker, but you don't often think about Shawn Michaels. Ben Hunt's a real Shawn Michaels. Yeah, he's a real Don Fry. He's a real man's man. So it was just pure to see Ben Hunt get that, the tears in his eyes, etc., etc. The real main talking point, I think, is just like Reece Walsh, how fucking good he was, how much of a freak that kid is. Big game player, huge game player. Like, he was undeniable last night. He was undeniable. It was like only the first half. Or we hadn't even played second half. And I looked over at Caleb, and I said, should have put him on Clive Churchill. Like $7.50, and he just was in everything. Defensively, he stopped probably four certain tries, I reckon. I reckon he stopped 4 certain tries. He scared the living shit out of Pappenhausen. Pappenhausen, dummy, run, broke the line. He was gone. Reece caught him in a matter of seconds. Didn't catch him, but, you could see Pappenhausen look back, seeing Reece storming in on him. Pissed off, nails painted, toilet water just coming out of the... You know what I mean? And Pappy shit himself and just threw the ball into nothing. Hoping Will Warbrick was Bluetooth connected to him, but he wasn't. And the ball went into nothing, man. Reece Walsh scared the living shit out of Ryan Pappenhausen, all right? But yeah, defensively, stopping, saving tries, scoring tries, setting tries up. I mean, the try he scored in the first half where it was just a big dick moment. Big dick moment. Reece Walsh, big dick moment. Abbreviate that and put it on screen with a picture of his face. Thank you. Reece Walsh, big dick moment. He just gets the ball, just says, give me the ball. Give me the ball and I'll run the ball up. And just, stiff palming. Get out of the way. Zip, weave. Leaving people in the dirt. Reece Walsh scores a try. That's kind of how that's the best way I can explain it. I could probably put a clip on screen if I wanted to, but I don't think I will, because I think you guys got the gist of that try. Stiff, palm, run, swerve, zip, boom, try line, score. What are we talking about? You don't need a clip. You get it. Yeah. Reece was a freak. He entered another level. And I remember just sitting back and watching and thinking, if this is the fallback for the Ashes, if this is our fallback for an Ashes Kangaroo Tour in England, I'm pretty okay with this. We don't need Tedesco. Reece was incredible. Reece was actually incredible. So, I mean, I've heard it get thrown around a little bit. I don't want to come out on record and say it because I'm a bit of a pup. And I don't have the push of a Buzz Rothfield. I don't have the push of a James Graham or a Dan and Campbell, whatever. I don't have that sort of push, all right? But I'll just say what I've heard. I'll say what I've heard. I think it was one of the best individual performances in a big game I've ever seen. Gus Gould actually said it. I think that's a Gus Gould quote. I think it was one of the best individual brilliance performances I have seen in a big game, like a grand final or a state of origin, etc., prelim, whatever. It was. He was in everything. As I said, saved probably 3 tries. Scored 1, set up 2 or 3. And the Broncos' injuries were just piling up. Reyno, hammy. Ben Hunt knocked out. Karapani, look, I am counting. Karapani, HIA. And there was probably another one. There was probably another one. I'm not sure. But the Broncos' injuries were piling up. And Reece held fast. I mean, Ezra did really well as well. But Reece held fast and became the leader that team needed. So, yeah, huge individual game from Reece Walsh. I mean, the Broncos just, all in all, the Broncos did play really well. There was a lot of errors in the first half, but all in all, they played really well. A lot of the players played really well. A lot of them had individually brilliant games. Payne Haas, once again, I think it is pretty safe to say now that Payne Haas is GOAT prop forward in the comp. Could be GOAT, one of GOAT players. He could be GOAT player. He's up there in talking with Nathan Cleary. Before you say, what are you talking about, man? He's not up there with Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary's won 4 comps, man. I don't mean it as in accolades and... Obviously, they're 2 completely different players, but I just mean the skill both men possess in the field that they play in. Obviously, but Payne Haas isn't kicking 40-20s. But is Nathan Cleary running over the top of people and running for 200 metres nearly every game? No. Okay, no. Payne Haas is. So it's their respective positions on the field. So, Payne Haas could be GOAT. Payne Haas could be GOAT. That's how the kids say it. Payne Haas could be GOAT. Payne Haas could be... Well, he definitely is, in my opinion, GOAT prop forward. And yeah. Who else had a really good game? Pat Carrigan, I think, is flying under the radar a bit. He had a really great game, in everything. Played 80 minutes. Obviously, he had a bit of rest time, but in everything, played 80 minutes. Played with his heart on his sleeve. Big game player, that Pat. Ezra coming on the field, doing what he needed to do. Corey Pakes, who you've got to expect, like all week, the game plan would have been Ezra comes on late first half, plays the rest of the game in that number 6 hooker position, whatever. Corey Pakes was only meant to play the first 25, 30 minutes. He ends up playing pretty much the rest of the game at dummy half. So Corey Pakes, I think, needs a bit of a pat on the back. Like that's one of them skills where it's, you just gotta get the ball going under pressure. You gotta know what to do under pressure, and he did it, mate. How good are them Queenslanders, mate? How good are them bloody Broncos, mate? What else have I got to say? Itchy eye, hay fever. You get it. I've said it 3 videos in a row. Shouldn't have to keep saying it. Yeah. Xavier Willison had a good game. The Broncos, just all in all, had a really good game. Obviously, Reece Walsh, the man to beat. But, you got to shine a lot on nearly every single Bronco on that field because they all played outstanding. So, yeah. I think that's all I've got to say about the game. I just want to say the Broncos celebrations so far, what's coming out, live Instagram live clips, just media and stuff like that. It's all time. The boys are having one of the all-time celebrations. Okay, the Stefano Utio Ikimanu, bit of beef that's going on there. That's good. That's fun. I like that. Reminds me of James Fisher-Harris in 2022. Para are our sons. Reminds me a little bit of that. There's a little bit of back and forth after the game, which I like. The lads in the sheds smoking cigars, drinking 4X Gold, man. Yep. How good are them Queenslanders, mate? In the shed smoking cigars. Pics of the rings. We all knew they were a hot boy team. We all knew it was a hot boy summer. Okay, we all knew that they love to take their shirts off and paint their nails. A couple of them, a few of them. All right, and the celebrations we're seeing from it. Would you expect anything less of the glitz and glamour of the celebrations that the Broncos are putting on right now from a hot boy summer team? No, the answer is no. The cigars and the goggles and the the glitz and the glamour. It's Broncos-esque, right? And you'd expect nothing else. So. But yeah, Madge and Reyno, they did it at South Sydney, they did it at the Broncos. I just needed to get a little bit of South Sydney love in there, so yeah, Madge and Reyno did it for the Broncos, did it for the Rabbitohs, did it for the Broncos now. And my biggest takeaway from the game, Broncos win. We're calling up, we're getting rings, we're swapping balls with kids, we're getting rings. Okay, and Reyno gets his ring. He's doing his little speech. And the whole game I was thinking, man, this sucks. Because, Billy Walters did so much for this team in the finals. In the weeks leading up to the finals where Reyno and Mam were out, he did so much. He was, pivotal. Even in the weeks before when he was coming off the bench at 14, he was pivotal in a lot of their comebacks, in a lot of their wins. He deserved to be up there. Reyno calls him up. He gets to lift the fucking trophy with the boys. Oh, tell you right now, I was foaming from the mouth. I got up. Yeah. I only hit one of them. I only hit one of them when it's big. I'm talking South Sydney wins. Okay, I'm talking big wins on the punt. All right, and I hit a few of those. Yeah. You know what I mean? It pumped me up. Billy deserved it, man. Billy deserved it, and of course Reyno brought him up. Because that's what ex-South Sydney players do, right? We look after our own. And, Teddy Swims. Really good live performance. Great cover of TNT. Really good live performance. Great cover of TNT. I liked it. I really liked it. I think Teddy did. I think, honestly, to be honest, I didn't even watch the Snoop Dogg AFL performance. But just from what I've seen, I think Teddy's was a little bit better. Call me an AFL hater, but I think Teddy's was a little bit better. Say what you will. Say what I will. I'll say what I want. All right, I'll come out here. I'll get on Instagram Live and drink from a toilet. I don't care. I'm a freak. I'm a Broncos supporter now. All right. 2026. I'm getting my members cards. I'm getting signed up. I'm going to every game. I'm a Broncos fan now. All right. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. We'll talk a little bit of women's grand final, then we'll talk a little bit of UFC, and then we'll get out of here. Women's GF. Women's GF. Don't have a lot to say. I missed a bit of this game. I missed a little bit of this game, admittedly. A hard-fought game. Broncos set a lead to start. The Roosters come back. The girls, honestly, played their hearts out. There was some big contacts out there. The Roosters side was torn to shit, man. Just injuries. Busted up faces. Oh, my God. The Roosters were beat to shit. And, yeah, a hard-fought comeback from the Roosters. And then the Broncos fought hard to get back into it as well. I do think, controversial of me here, I know I've just pledged my allegiance to the Broncos in 2026. But I think that the game-winning try for the Broncos from number 3 centre, not sure of her name, remembered it yesterday, don't remember it now. I think it's a little bit controversial. I don't know if she got the ball down. Guys. I'm just here to spark a bit of fire. I don't know if she got the ball down. Yeah. Good game. Great game. Hey. Broncos WNRL. Men's NRL. It was really good. It was a good game. If I watched more of it, I'd have more to say. Oh, and the Waz. Up the Waz. New South Wales Cup. Beat Queensland Cup. State champs. 50-20 or something. Absolute annihilation. It's tomato. Let's talk UFC. That's a quick segment. Similar thing. I'm not going to hold you too long in the UFC department. Not going to hold you too long. I just want to come in and say, I want to come in and talk about the last 3 fights on the card. AE. How do you say that? Is it AE? AE, Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Alex Pereira versus... what's the guy's name? Man? Corey Sandhagen versus Merab. Did I say that? Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Yeah. Jiri versus Khalil. Good fight. Really good fight. Fight of the night. Jiri in classic Jiri fashion. Just sort of let Khalil just beat the shit out of him for 2.5 rounds and gas himself out. And then Jiri was saving all the energy for the 3rd round and just energy dumped. Just dumped the tank and got the knockout. Brutal knockout. Needed a knockout. It's not often that they lose the first 2 rounds and they come back and they get a knockout and they win. But he did. He got it. So shout out Jiri. Big knockout win. Great fight. I don't know. His reaction after Alex won. Spoiler alert, Alex won. We're going to talk about that in a minute. His reaction after Alex won. He's in the crowd and he hits one of these ones. You know, there's a lot of mixed meanings about that. You know, a lot of people have their thoughts, mixed thoughts on what this face was. Me personally, I think it's I've been knocked out by this guy twice, and if I want the belt, because I've just won probably a number 1 contender fight, if I want the belt, I've got to fight him a 3rd time. That's what that face is. Man. That's the Sundog meme. That's the cooked dog meme. Put it on screen. That's what that face is. Put this cooked dog face on meme. Put the cooked dog meme on screen and put Jiri's face on screen. That'd be perfect. There's a lot of editing going on here, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. Good win for Jiri, but man, if he's going to fight Alex again for a 3rd time, what are we talking about? Merab versus Sandhagen. I don't have much to say about this one. Like, Merab just wins fights. Get used to it. Merab wins fights. He beat Sandhagen. Sandhagen probably did the best out of anyone who's fought Merab for a belt. Okay, did well with the takedowns. Got back to his feet a lot of the times. His striking was pretty all right, but for the most part, Merab 10-8'd him. Well, Merab lost the first round. Merab got 10-8. Well, Merab 10-8'd Corey in the second. Then Merab probably won the third. Merab probably won the fourth. And Merab probably won the fifth. If anything, the fourth round was a close round going Sandhagen's way, but I think it was, Corey won the first round. Surprised Merab, like maybe just caught Merab cold. And then for the rest of it, Merab just ragdolled him. Merab will go till 40 before he loses. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say about Merab. And then, finally, Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, if you know UFC, you'll know Alex Pereira is probably one of the biggest stars in the UFC. At the moment, lost his belt a few months back to Magomed Ankalaev. I said a few things on Instagram, and I don't take them back, all right? I don't take them back. I think Magomed, great fighter, but I just don't think it was Alex's time to hang it up. And Magomed was being a little bit mean in the lead up to this fight, saying he's going to send him back to the tyre shop, saying that, no Sharma. Why are you going to be mean, man? I thought these Russian European guys were meant to be really humble, really nice, maybe aggressive when provoked, but for the most part, I thought they were humble, nice, mixed martial arts fanatics. But this Magomed guy, man, he was just being mean the whole time. He's calling Alex names, saying he's going to send him back to the tyre shop. If you're a rugby league fan and you don't know what the tyre shop is, Alex used to work in a Brazilian tyre shop making dirt, okay? So, yeah. But it'll probably go down in history as one of the most cold moments. Alex gets up in his face in the standoff, in the stare down or whatever, and says, in Brazilian, of course, I'm not going back to the tyre shop. And then in the first round, walks him down, ices him, knocks him out, emotes on him. It's one of these ones. So, yeah. We actually had some technical difficulties watching this live. The TV unplugged itself. Well, we unplugged it. And we missed it in live time, so we had to go back and rewatch it. But anyway, Alex won by knockout. So the world is pure again. The world of MMA is pure and excellent, and everything makes sense. And that's all I've got to talk about on UFC. So I'm going to do an outro. We're going to get out of here, and I'm going to leave you with another week of Fighting Field Insights sporting goodness. We still plugged it. Oh, yeah, we're still good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Fighting Field Insights. Don't know if we'd call this finals recap. This might just be Fighting Field Insights. We're talking sport. We're talking sport because we talked UFC as well. Because it was a big weekend for sporting. All right, it was a huge weekend for sports. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Reece Walsh. I actually won a lot of money on Reece Walsh, so shout out to Reece Walsh. I want to give a shout out to Alex Pereira for making everything pure again in the world of MMA, and I want to give a shout out to, I don't know, I put some money on a dog yesterday and it got up, so I want to give a shout out to that dog as well. I'll try and put it on screen or something. So shout out to that dog. I think it raced at Helensvale or something, Victoria. Shout out to that dog. Other than that, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new here and you like sport, you like all things sport, talked at an average level, subscribe. Subscribe because the sky's the limit here. We're only getting bigger and bigger. And you'd hate to be that one guy who was like, well, like this is kind of cool, but I'm not going to subscribe. And then in 3 or 4 months down the line, you come back and things are great and awesome and fucking sick, and you didn't subscribe. You'd hate to be that one guy. You'd cry yourself to sleep. So you'd want to subscribe now. Get in while the getting's good. Yeah, check out the Spotify. Plug the Spotify. Always got to plug the Spotify. Spotify's struggling, but Spotify's getting there. Shout out the Instagram. Got to get the Instagram going. Got to get the Instagram going places. So go check out my Instagram. And then, I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to say. Instagram, Spotify, subscribe. Have a great week, guys. All right. Shout out to all the Broncos fans out there. Shout out to 4X Gold, mate. Shout out to the Brisbane Lions, mate. Shout out the Brisbane Broncos and Brisbane Lions and the WNRL Brisbane Broncos, women's Brisbane Broncos. Shout out Queensland, mate. Shout out Forest Gold, mate. Shout out. Oh my God, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here before things get bad. Talk to you guys later. Have a good week. Deuces.